Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our webinar this afternoon, our Real Economic Impact Network webinar this afternoon on exploring better money habits. My name is Michael Rausch, and I'm the director of the Real Economic Impact Network at the National Disability Institute. I would like to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Bank of America, who has been a longtime supporter of the Real Economic Impact Network at the National Disability Institute. Before we get started, I would like to turn it over to my colleague, Ashley Bray, who's going to go over some housekeeping tips for us. Ashley?
Thanks, Michael. Listening to today's webinar, the audio for today's webinar is being broadcast through your computer. Please make sure your speakers are turned on or your headphones are plugged in. You can control the audio broadcast via the audio broadcast panel. If you accidentally close the panel, you can reopen by going to the Communicate menu at the top of the screen. It's the fourth button over, and choosing Join Audio Broadcast, and that will get you back and connected. If you do not have sound capabilities on your computer or you prefer to listen by phone, you can dial 1-650-479-3207 or the toll-free number 1-855-244-8681. The meeting code is 666-844-525, and please note you do not need to enter an attendee ID. Captioning. Real-time captioning is provided during this webinar. The captions can be found in the Media Viewer panel, which appears in the lower right corner of the webinar platform. If you do not see captions, you may need to open the Media Viewer panel by selecting the Media Viewer button in the upper right corner of the webinar platform. If you want to make the Media Viewer panel larger, you can minimize other panels like the chat, the questions and answers, and/or the participant box. Submitting questions. For the Q&A portion of today's webinar, please use the chat box or the Q&A box to send any questions you have during the webinar to Michael Rausch or myself, Ashley Bray, and we will direct the questions accordingly during the Q&A portion. If you're listening by phone and not logged into the webinar, you may also ask questions by emailing Michael, mroush@ndi-inc.org. And please note that this webinar is being recorded and the materials will be placed on the National Disabilities Institute's website at www.realeconomicimpact.org. Technical assistance. If you're experiencing any technical difficulties during the webinar, please use the chat box to send a message to the host, Ashley Bray, or you may also email me at abray@ndi-inc.org. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Michael.
Great. Thank you so much, Ashley. So for those of you who are new to the National Disability Institute, I would like to take a couple minutes just to share with you some information about the National Disability Institute. The National Disability Institute is a national nonprofit organization where our mission is to drive social impact to build a better economic future for people with disabilities and their families. We are the first national organization committed exclusively to championing economic empowerment, asset development, and financial stability for all persons across the full spectrum of disabilities. National Disability Institute affects change through public education, training, technical assistance, and policy development to help the 1 in 3 Americans with disabilities living in poverty take steps towards a brighter financial future. Excuse me. To learn more about the National Disability Institute, go to www.realeconomicimpact.org. We hope that if you're not already a member or a partnering organization of the Real Economic Impact Network, we hope that you will join us for this national movement on building a better economic future for persons with disabilities. The Real Economic Impact Network is an alliance of organizations and individuals dedicated to advancing the economic empowerment of people with disabilities. The REI network consists of more than 4,500 members located throughout the United States, and it includes nonprofits, community tax coalitions, asset development organizations, financial education initiatives, corporations and private sector businesses, federal, state, local governments and agencies, and individuals and families with disabilities. And all partners are joining forces to embrace, promote, and pursue access to and the inclusion of people with disabilities in the economic mainstream. To learn more about the Real Economic Impact Network and to join, it is free to join. Go to www.realeconomicimpact.org. So for today's webinar, we're excited that you all joined us to talk more and learn more about better money habits. As some of you know who've gone through trainings or participated in other webinars, as a financial educator and a financial coach and a practitioner at heart, oftentimes we utilize better money habits as a way to enhance the knowledge transfer of a variety of financial education topics for individuals. And so today we're going to give you an overview of better money habits and let you explore it if you haven't already, but learn more about it and what it has to offer. We're also going to look at the new Better Money Habits partner page, and it will provide you with a variety of tools and resources that financial educators, financial coaches, and practitioners can access in their delivery of Better Money Habits. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some tips on how to integrate better money habits into existing programs. And when I say existing programs, it may not be that you already have a financial education program, but maybe you're an employment program, offer an employment program. And so we're going to share with you some tips on how to integrate better money habits into your existing programs. And then we're going to leave plenty of time for questions and answers at the end, and we will get through your questions. So I'm excited today that we have Misty Hadzima, who's the Senior Vice President of Enterprise Marketing at Bank of America. And Misty is going to share information with us on Better Money Habits and give us an overview of this platform so that we each can access it. So with that, Misty, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Michael and Ashley. And we're very happy to be partners with such a wonderful organization and really appreciate the work that you do in our communities. And really appreciate having the time today to be able to share more about Better Money Habits. Hope that most of you are aware of the program. It is a tool or resource that we've created and would love for you to be able to use it with your audiences. And we're always listening. We're always evolving the program. We launched it as a beta site to really understand if it's meeting needs in the communities, and we continue to have that mentality. So we welcome feedback on topics that we may not have yet covered, on how to better deliver the program. Any feedback we definitely welcome. So appreciate the time today. So Better Money Habits. We at Bank of America have a purpose, and our purpose is to make financial lives better for our customers and the communities we serve. As a demonstration of this purpose, we created Better Money Habits, which is our flagship financial education program to help deliver objective and easy to understand financial education. The stats around financial health and knowledge are really staggering, which I'm sure most of you know. What we've learned over the years is 1 in 2 people are actually using a budget. Around 69% say that money is a stressor in their lives. And 3/4 of American adults say that they'd like to have help with basic money matters. So knowing that this is a need for our nation, we wanted to build and really focus in on the content that addresses those critical financial topics for consumers and deliver it in a free and easy to access way. And we did that by launching bettermoneyhabits.com. We knew that we couldn't do it alone. We have a lot of subject matter expertise when it comes to financial matters. But where we were lacking is how do we really make this a great education program? So we partnered with SalCon and Khan Academy, who are really innovators in the online education space, to really help us understand how to better bring this to life for our customers and our communities. We were able to meet with Sal and the Khan Academy and really get underneath their secret sauce to bringing education to the masses online, and really think that we've brought that to life in what we offer today. And at the bottom of this slide, you'll see that we're not stopping. So we'll continue to develop new content. We just created some new content for transitioning military. We did some more on taxes, and we just launched some retirement content for the millennial audience. So we continue to understand the needs of our communities and create new content for those communities. So we'll never stop growing and creating new content. And also, we want to tell people about it. So we continue to have great partners like yourselves and these forums to help spread the word, share the tool so that you can use it in your communities. When we first launched Better Money Habits, we launched with just 30 videos, and we've grown today to a library of over 200 pieces of content. When we first started, we had this vision for the program that it would be for everyone. We still have that vision, but we realized very quickly that we couldn't boil the ocean and create all the content at once. So we really needed to focus in on specific audiences and truly understand what their needs are and create content for them. So we did two things. We looked at who was looking for this, so who's actually seeking out financial education, and then we also looked at who needs it the most, and we came up with these three audiences that we started with. So the first audience is the just starting out audience, and if you can imagine, these are folks who are just launching, maybe going through a lot of financial firsts. Do we have a lot of topics on Better Money Habits today, and on student loans, on renting, some of those first big purchases like buying a car, doing taxes for the first time, and a lot of that Money 101 topic area. The second audience we wanted to focus on were parents. And parents really have a few needs. They have needs because now they have more dependence, less time, so their money doesn't maybe stretch as far, so they have their own personal finance needs. But they also have financial needs for their children, planning for college, planning for school, helping their children, through the education and activities that they do. They also have needs to teach their children about money. One of the big things that we learned was parents want to teach their kids about how to do better with money than they did. So we created a good area on the site today under Families and Money that talks about allowances, establishing good money behavior from the beginning. And then very importantly, we focused on this third audience that we call day-to-dayers because they're living day-to-day financially, living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to make ends meet. This was an audience that we really wanted to care for and be very, very judicious in how we learned what their needs were and how we created content for them to make sure that we were getting it right. We knew we needed to get it right in this area. So we talked with a lot of partners, including yourselves, to really understand what the needs are and how it impacts their personal lives. So we created some content that we just launched in Q4 of 2015, and later in this webinar, I'll share some specific pieces with you. So then we created BetterMoneyHabits.com, and we're actually on the second version of our website now and plan to evolve it again later in the year. But for BetterMoneyHabits.com, we took a mobile-first design approach, where we know that not all of our communities get their internet via a computer or a laptop, or even have access to a computer or laptop. So we know that the phone may be the only device that they have where they're consuming internet. So we wanted to make sure that whatever we created was accessible to everyone, and so it is viewable and consumable on a phone as easy as it is on a laptop or computer. We wanted to create a personalized experience as well. So you'll find that there's a couple of different ways to find content on Better Money Habits. You can go through the menu bar and find it by topic area, or you can have a more guided experience and click the goal button that's in the middle of the screen and find one of 14 goals that you may that may be impacting your personal life. And we also, as I mentioned, started with just video content, and now we've expanded into other formats. We know that not everyone learns best by video, so we wanted to make sure we had some other types of content. So now you'll find articles, infographics, worksheets, and a new fun term that we call listicles, which are really just articles in list format. So I want to take a moment to pause and thank the National Disability Institute, along with the other 13 partners who we spent a significant amount of time with interviewing it to really understand what the needs were for this paycheck-to-paycheck audience. And from that, we did two things. We created new content, and we created a new experience. So the new experience that we created is what we're calling the partner page. It's more than just a page. It's more like a microsite. You can find it at bettermoneyhabits.com/partner. And here you'll find all of the great content that we've created for this paycheck-to-paycheck audience, really in 6 different playlists. And these playlists were informed by the interviews and research that we did, and which I'll talk a little bit more in just a bit. This slide is when you click into one of those 6 playlists, you'll see the pages laid out in 3 different sections. The first section is suggested videos. So if these are some videos that you can use to bone up on any information prior to heading into a session, or you can think of these as videos that you'd like to share while you're in a session with a client. The second section is client handouts. So here we've taken some of the non-video pieces, some of those infographics, articles, worksheets, and made them printable and downloadable that would print in 8.5 by 11 pages. So here you can either select all and print out the full workbook, or you can select the 2 to 3 that may make sense for your session and just print those. And then the final section within this playlist is client homework. So we've taken some videos and non-video pieces that we think may be good leave-behinds for individuals, and you can either, and these, if it's a video, it will have the URL of the video and the takeaways from that video, and you can print these and either email them or hand them to the client as you're leaving the session. So that's the experience that we created. We just launched it in February of this year. I would say it is also in what we call beta or pilot phase. We definitely want to hear from you on, does this work? Get your feedback on, is the content right in the playlist? How is the experience? Are there pain points, et cetera? So we welcome all feedback there. So getting to the content that we created, so these are the 6 playlists that I mentioned: taking control of your finances, getting out of debt, establishing or rebuilding credit, building better financial habits, establishing an emergency fund, and buying a home. And again, there'll be multiple different types of content that you can find in those playlists. Going back to the interviews and the time that we spent with our partners, we really had several objectives in doing so. We really wanted to understand the needs of the audiences that you serve and identify those most commonly expressed pain points and needs, and create the content so that it's really relevant. And we wanted to, and lastly, we wanted to really understand the best way to get it to them. Some of the questions that we asked were what challenges that you face in trying to get folks to engage and really learn and take action, and how do people want to learn? Do they want to learn in person, by themselves at home, online? So these are some of the considerations that we took into thought process as we built out the experience. What we learned is this audience is just trying to get by each month. They're really dealing with scarcity, not only scarcity in money and finances, but also in time. And they're not really seeking out the information online. They really seek help when they're in a crisis. And when they do seek help, they go to their trusted partners in their community, such as organizations like yourselves. And we also found that they learn best by doing and using relevant information to their current situation. So some of the content that we created, this video is actually one of the first videos we created, but we've determined and realized that it's still very relevant. Getting out of debt is a very intimidating topic for all audiences. We all have debt, whether it's student loans, mortgages, car loans, but this can be a very crippling topic for those living paycheck to paycheck. This video talks through some of the steps to help you get out of debt. Some of those steps being start with a budget. Setting a budget is very important. Know what money is coming in and where that money is going. Make a plan. That plan may include consolidation of your debt. And back to that budget, really, ways to trim the fat, so not spending on those non-essentials, and maybe even, if needed, seeking credit counseling. There are folks and organizations who can help. The second topic that I wanted to share with you today is emergency cash. What are my options? This was a really interesting piece that came directly out of the interviews that we did. We know that there are times when crisis happens and you need cash, and it may seem like there are no good options. And so we've laid out what the options are and what the associated risks to those options are. So none of these may seem like a good idea, but when it's an emergency and you have to do one, you can look at your options and understand the risks and make the best decision for you. You'll see that we've included payday loans as an option here as one of the highest risks to take out. And we completely agree that payday loans are a really bad decision, but if it's the only decision you have, we wanted to make sure we shared the risks around that and information in detail around what it is you're taking on when you take on a payday loan. So we did create a specific piece on that you'll find on bettermoneyhabits.com today as well. Another piece that we created is 6 simple steps to jumpstart your emergency fund. So one of the ways to not get into the situation of needing emergency cash is to have an emergency fund. And we know through partners like yourselves that this is one of the best steps for this audience to maybe stop living paycheck to paycheck is really first starting with an emergency fund. So this piece really provides the ways to begin building that doesn't stress an already tight budget. So simple things like taking it day by day, just get started. Start with as little as $2 to $3 a day. Starting is a big step. Pick something to cut. It could be small. It could be something that maybe doesn't happen every day, but cutting something and putting that money towards an emergency fund is another good step. Making it easy on yourself with automatic transfers, keeping the funds accessible but away from temptation, so thinking about a savings account, what your options are around that. And then finally, up in the ante, try to aim for 3 to 6 months of expenses. So this is an example of picking something to cut, thinking about carpool or public transportation to save on gas, or identifying that one discrete thing that you may be able to change your behavior around as an example of part of that piece. So next is 10 ways to earn extra cash. Another thing that we learned from our partners is budgets can be stretched, but only stretched so far before really needing more funds to be brought in. So what are some possible ways to bring additional funds in? So this is 10 straightforward ways to help earn a little cash. Some things that maybe you or your clients haven't thought about before. Hold a yard sale, sell your stuff online, make things to sell, farmer's market, babysitting, even renting out a room, some good ideas of how to possibly earn some extra cash. One of these examples is to teach lessons, tutor, coach, or referee. So seek out some opportunities in your community to possibly earn some additional extra cash. And the next piece that I wanted to highlight is 5 questions to decide whether to pay down debt or save. So often folks have debt and no savings. So when extra money is needed or when extra money is earned, they're not sure where to put it or how to make it work hardest for them. So these 5 questions will help you figure out what's the right path and place to put that money to help it work harder for you. Thinking about high-interest debt, that's one thing that you should probably tackle first. Do you have an emergency fund like we just talked about? Definitely thinking about getting that started. Are you planning for retirement? And remember that you can't borrow for retirement, so planning for it now is a good idea. Other debts, and then what other goals or needs do you have in your financial life? So as we talked about, emergency fund is one of those big key pieces. An emergency can happen at any time. So a good goal is to have about 3 months of your income for an emergency fund. So it's a good place to put some extra cash if you have it. So that's just a good demonstration of a couple pieces of content that we created, again, through the interviews and time that we spent with your organization and others, and the partner page, partner microsite that we created, again, at bettermoneyhabits.com/partner. So with that, I'll pass it back over to Michael and Angie and see if there are any questions.
Great. Thank you, Misty. And actually, I think there's one more slide. Misty, do you want to talk about this slide? All right. Misty, are you still there?
I'm so sorry. I was speaking on mute. Yes.
Okay.
And Michael, I failed to mention at the beginning of this, I'm joined with my partner from Bank of America Foundation team, Win Lum. And together we've created what you'll see on the left is a brochure. This is an opened, unfolded brochure, but we do have these brochures available that talk about Better Money Habits, our partnership with Khan Academy, the content you'll find on Better Money Habits, as well as the partner microsite that we mentioned. And again, we have the partner microsite at that bettermoneyhabits.com/partner. There's just a few tools in addition to the website that we have available for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Misty, for all of this great information. So we do have several questions that have come in, but what I'd like to do is, before we open it up to the Q&A portion, is I would like to share with you a couple tips on how we and some of our partners have integrated better money habits into their existing programs. And with the information that Misty has shared, looking at the various tools and resources that are available, these are great tools that can easily complement whether I'm doing a one-on-one session with someone or if I'm doing a group financial education class. And so here's some ways that we've been able to, and our partners have been able to integrate Better Money Habits into their existing financial education programs or in new financial education programs. So at the National Disability Institute, we do have a curriculum called Building Assets and Promoting Choice and Community Participation for Persons with Disabilities. This particular curriculum is used to help train service professionals to embed financial capability strategies into their system. And so in this particular curriculum, Better Money Habits videos are used to enhance the conversation on particular topics. So for example, if we're talking about spending plans or budgets, we oftentimes will use how to set a budget and stick to it. And that particular video will enhance that knowledge transfer of the topic that we're talking about. We've also seen and worked with Bank of America and Special Olympics on a particular training for them on using Better Money Habits videos, again, to enhance the conversation of a financial education class. For this particular piece, it looked mainly at how the international global messengers can budget and spend their money, their travel money, as they are traveling around to talk about the Special Olympics. Another example of how groups have worked to integrate Better Money Habits into existing programs is the Arc of Broward has shared an example where they have used Better Money Habits and the tools from Khan Academy in a small group discussion. So a video was shared, and then as a small group, they are able to talk further about that particular topic as well. So there's a variety of ways that you can implement Better Money Habits into your existing programs. The other examples that we wanted to give was really looking at integrating Better Money Habits into workforce development programs as well. And one example is from CareerSource Fort Lauderdale. So they utilize Better Money Habits in a variety of ways. One of the ways that they use it is they provide support to customers that are receiving the temporary assistance for needy families. And so as an individual who has applied for TANF benefits, they get to participate in a variety of activities before work registration as they are starting that particular program. And so one of the tools that they have given was to put Better Money Habits on the computers in the resource room where individuals who are receiving TANF or another benefit that they support can go and access the videos. And they have to complete a certain amount of videos or watch a certain number of videos before they can move on. And they do get a certificate that shows that they've completed the various pieces or courses or videos. But the reason we wanted to share this example specifically is because this, again, is a simple way that they've been able to embed better money habits into their system of their existing programs to see that individuals can have access to the knowledge they need to make better financial decisions. So that is another example as well. Excuse me. Another piece that has been, we've seen to be successful is where programs and organizations have been able to implement better money habits into their staff trainings, but also into the continuing education opportunities for their staff. We worked with a job center, American Job Center, in Polk County, and they provided a variety of lunch and learns for their staff. And for a variety of different topics, because so many things were covered during that time, they only had about 10 minutes to be able to share information on a different topic. And so what they did for their various lunch and learns was to have a Better Money Habits video play, a discussion about it, and identify additional topics that they would want to have in the future. And so then the staff were able to have access to the information. And one of the reasons why we think that that's a great way to integrate better money habits or other financial education tools is because we know that once we utilize a service or a tool ourselves, we're more likely to refer that to an individual that we support. We saw that and still see that through our work with the free tax preparation services when a case manager and employment specialist access free tax preparation services via VITA or via our volunteer income tax assistance program or My Free Taxes. We then found that they were more likely to refer the free tax preparation services to their clients because, again, they have personally accessed and used the information. So there's a wide variety of ways that we have seen groups integrate better money habits into their existing programs and systems. And we have a variety of other strategies and due to our limited time here and the large number of questions, what I'd like to ask is that if you have additional ideas or additional questions that you would like to learn more about when it comes to better money habits, or if you want to discuss strategies on how to potentially integrate it, you can send an email to ask@ndi-inc.org. And I just put that email address into the chat box. And we can provide you with additional tools and strategies and connect you with these various partners who've also been successful in integrating better money habits into their system. So with that, what I want to do is turn it over to questions. We have a large number of questions here. And so Misty and Wynn, we are going to get ready for those questions. So the first question that has come in is at the beginning you talked about homework, the homework assignments, I think. And so the question is, are homework assignments created for every topic? So Misty, would you be able to answer that?
Sure. So we have specifically created on the partner site, bettermoneyhabits.com/partner 6 of the playlists. And for those 6 playlists, we have gone through and chosen things that we think are topics that we think are good for homework. So those homework assignments are specific to those 6 that we reviewed earlier. The website, bettermoneyhabits.com, so the main website, all non-video pieces, there is an option to download and print. So you can download and print any piece and use that as a homework assignment as well.
Okay, great, thank you. So the next question that's come in is, how do we provide feedback, ideas regarding playlists or content?
That's a great question. And Michael, I know I made that call to action without speaking with you about that. I don't know if it would be best to have that route through your team, or we can provide our email addresses as well. And Wynn, I don't know if you have any suggestions there.
Yeah, everything through Michael, because that's the way I like it. No, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that question and the suggestions. I think we flashed on the very last slide from Misty's presentation my email address, and we're happy to take your feedback, your suggestions on that. Michael has been very good, and the entire NDI team been very good about getting us and giving us those suggestions as well, and the feedback that they have received. And as Misty said, it was because of NDI we were able to come up with the initial playlist that we have and some of the improvements we've made to bettermoneyhabits.com. But we have more, and we look for more feedback from you so that we can continue to improve the resources on the site. So whether it comes from NDI, directly from you to us, we'll take it any way we can get it, and we will be working on that. So thank you for offering your suggestions ahead of time.
Great, thank you, Wynn, and thank you, Misty. So what we could do is I put in the chat box again. If you want to provide feedback on Better Money Habits, the playlist, and the content, or provide suggestions on additional topics, please send them to ask@ndi-inc.org, and I've also put it into the chat box as well, and then we will definitely be able to provide that information to Bank of America. So the next question is, do you have a method to deliver your financial education to consumers who do not have access to the internet or who do not have smart devices, as is common with persons with disabilities?
Yes, and there's a couple of ways that we do that. So without having the online access to that, we have just started to, and we haven't just started. At Bank of America, we have a great deal of employee volunteers who are out there delivering financial education and financial coaching in our communities. And in communities where we have these volunteers, they are more than willing to help out and present. We just launched a Better Money Habits Champions group, and this is a group of volunteers that will be promoting and delivering Better Money Habits content along with other curricula available to our volunteers. So if you have an opportunity where you'd like to bring in a Bank of America Better Money Habits champion or a volunteer to help with that, let us know about that. If we have an opportunity to find an employee volunteer in the market that you're in, we're happy to make those connections.
Great, perfect. And also, I think that to the person who asked that question, I think Misty had shared that different pieces are downloadable and that you could print them. So, if you're within your community organization and, you're working with an individual and they may not have access to it, some of those tools you would be able to download and print yourself. So thank you, Misty and Wynn, for sharing that. Which leads to this question, which I think we've already answered it, but it says, can you get printouts of the different infographic articles or only online? So we've addressed that. Because Misty, I believe you said that the 6 topics you went over, that those are items with homework, but those items can be downloaded. Is that correct, or printed out?
That's right. So in the homework on the partner microsite and the client handouts, those can be printed as a booklet. You can select all and print it all together, or you can select certain ones and print those out. Those are formatted specifically to print out well on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. The download and print functionality on the main site is available for all non-video pieces. It'll fit to an 8.5 by 11 size as well.
Okay, great. So the next question is, do you have to have a Bank of America bank account to access Better Money Habits?
I'm so glad that question was asked because there is a lot of confusion around this. The answer is absolutely no. But we created BetterMoneyHabits.com for everyone, and it will always be free for everyone. So you can access it at any time from any computer at any time of the day, free of charge.
The other piece to that is that any of the materials, any of the resources, any of the pieces that you view on BetterMoneyHabits.com, there is no selling of product. There's no infomercials in there about Bank of America. We just proudly state that we support BetterMoneyHabits.com, but it's all objective information, and it's all product-free, commercial-free.
Excellent, great. So we have several more questions to get to as we're coming up on our 12 minutes left here. I appreciate all of these questions that are coming in. When I had a call with Misty and Wynn beforehand, I told them that the REI Network members are full of great questions, and so to prepare yourself. And so this is great. So we're going to get through some of these additional questions, and then we might go into a speed round to try to capture them all right? So the next question is have you tested the behavior change with individuals who have accessed the videos?
That's a fantastic question as well. So behavior change is really hard to measure. That impact is hard to measure. What we have been able to do is a survey of over 300 customers and non-customers. We did a survey before, and then we had them use Better Money Habits, and then we did a survey after, and through that, I wish I had it at my fingertips. I can't find it really quickly, but we found that the majority, like a significant percentage, did see improvement in their financial lives. In this research, we had half of the participants forced to use Better Money Habits, so we provided them specific things to do on Better Money Habits. And the second group, we let them do and use as they wish. And both groups came back with greater impact to their financial lives. So from that study, we have directional information, data that shows that it is working.
And as all of you know, the behaviors and tracking behaviors takes time, and very individualized for each of your clients. So some take behaviors and develop them right away and use them right away. Others, it takes a little bit more time to do so. What we've been asking our partners, and especially our nonprofit partners, to do for us is to help us track those behaviors. It's difficult for us to group everybody into one group like Misty has described and say, okay, in 6 months, how much have you changed? Because we know that some, there'd be significant changes and positive behaviors, and for others, it's still the start of their financial behaviors. So we know that it takes time to track all of these clients, and everybody uses Better Money Habits, and we depend on our nonprofits to help us do that.
Great, thank you. So the next question is, do you have a certificate we can give to clients when they complete lessons?
That's a great question. We don't have a certificate. What we do have on the site today is points and badges, and I didn't cover that in the presentation, but once you, if you go to bettermoneyhabits.com and you engage with the site directly, the content that you consume, you earn points, and then you can earn badges for those points. So that is some incentive that we've built into the site itself. We don't have a specific certificate that we provide at this time.
But that's right. But that's good input and a good suggestion. We will take that under consideration as we start to, as Misty welcomed us to start to track these suggestions and these changes. And so who knows? We may see one sometime down the road.
Great. And if I could just add a piece to that, for some of our partners, what we suggest is that when individuals have completed so many courses, that even the sites could create their own certificate to say that I completed so many videos as part of this financial education program. So even though there may not be an exact one on the site, some sites do give make up their own certificate to do as well. All right, great. I think we've already answered this, but I think this goes back to maybe the brochures that were highlighted. Where can we find the PDF for Better Money Habits for Coaches?
When you go onto the BetterMoneyHabits.com site, at the very bottom of that home screen, you'll see a link for our partners. And you can get to that microsite through that link, and you can find that brochure. The other place is that, give Michael Roche a shout out, and he will be sure you get one.
Exactly. Wynn provides me with plenty of them, and I appreciate it. But we also have the links, so we're happy to help out. So definitely. But we would like to say that we do hope that you all will go to the partner page, because we think that the partner page is really well done, and so please check that out. So a couple more questions here. How do I get connected with Bank of America volunteers? When I think that is a follow-up to your comment to a question earlier. So how do I get connected with Bank of America volunteers to provide better money habits?
A couple different ways. Our local market leaders, market managers, and volunteer network leaders are available to you in your local markets. And we're not, unfortunately, Bank of America is not all across the country. We're in about 40 states, and we have employee presence in various regions around the country. But if you don't know who your local market managers or volunteer networks are, you can always drop me a line. I'm happy to connect if we have those connections, and have you meet with our volunteer network leaders and present the opportunities to us.
Great. So the next question is Better Money Habits in Spanish?
So that's another really great question. Today on the site, the videos, for video content only, we offer Spanish closed captioning. And it's a little difficult to find. We completely understand that. But if you go to a video page on BetterMoneyHabits.com, in the lower right-hand corner of the video player, you'll see a CC. And if you click on that, it'll bring up a black box, and you can choose English or Spanish. When you do that, it'll have Spanish closed captioning along the bottom third of the video player. So that's all we have today for Spanish on the site. But we have heard this feedback before. We understand that the Spanish-speaking population is a great one for this financial education information, and we're trying to get our arms around what it would take to possibly offer more.
Great, great, great. Excellent. All right. Well, we've come up to our time. We have 4 minutes left. What I'd like to do is I would like to thank Misty and Wynn for sharing this great information with us today on better money habits. This is really a great tool, and we hope that you will access this program for the clients and share it with the clients that you work with. A couple things just before we close out. What we will do is we know that there were some questions that did not get answered, so we will pull those questions, share them with Misty and Wynn, and hopefully Misty and Wynn, you all don't mind answering them, and then we can send those out to each of you that participated in the webinar today. Just a reminder that if you do have additional questions or comments, you can send them to ask@ndi-inc.org. Again, if you're not part of the Real Economic Impact Network, I hope that you will join the movement and be a part of this conversation. And if you have any questions on strategies to build the financial wellness of persons with disabilities, you can send those questions again to ask@ndi-inc.org. I hope that you will join us for our next webinar on Wednesday, July 13th at 3 p.m., where we are going to have a conversation on resource mapping. And we are going to share with you our resource mapping tool, and we're going to go over how to complete the resource mapping tool, but also talk about how doing resource mapping enhances financial capability outcomes for the individuals that we serve. I will be the presenter as well as my colleague, Lori Schaller, so we hope that you will join us on July 13th. I would like to say a special thank you to my colleague, Ashley Bray, who facilitated today's webinar and keeps us in line with this webinar and all of our technology questions. So we appreciate that. And I'd also like to thank my colleagues who are part of National Disability Institute's Technical and Training Assistance Team. If you don't know them, please go to our website and get to know them. There's a variety of subject matter experts who are extremely passionate about building a better economic future for persons with disabilities. And I hope you will check out their different programs that are listed on their website to see how they might also be able to support the work that you're doing. Finally, thank you again to Bank of America for being a supporter. Thank you for creating better money habits. And thank you to Misty and to Wynn for your time in putting this all together today. We hope everybody has a great day, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. Thank you.